Hello and welcome to haQ. My name is Jakob. I'm your host and you're watching a haQ episode. So in this video, I'm gonna list my top 5 FX plugin apps that came out during 2019, and we're talking about delays, compressors, equalizers, stuff like that. And it turns out that during 2019, there were 79 of these apps published. That's a lot. Either way, in the end, I managed to do my top 5 list picks, and I'm about to present it. We're gonna start back in November 2019. And that's when Kai Aras dropped FD1 on the App Store. This is a delay, but it's not just any type of delay. This is a semi-modular delay with a multi-mode filter. Now, of course, I always start with my feature splash screens, and to anyone who might be new to this channel or to my videos, then of course, welcome. But I just want to highlight that anything that is ticked in green means that something is supported, and anything ticked in red means that something is not supported. And as you can see in the case of FD1 here, it's pretty much green across the board. The biggest strength of FD1 is its semi-modular nature. You see, you can modulate almost anything in here, and the way you do it is brilliant. You simply long press on a control until this menu pops up, and then you just slide your finger left or right on whatever source you want to use to modulate that control. Now, as you can see there, you have 2 sources to work with, one of them being the sequencer consisting of 8 steps, and you can also set how many of these steps you want to use right here. And the second modulation option is the LFO with 5 different types of waveforms. Oh, and one thing I want to highlight here is that you can sync both the LFO frequency and the delay time rate to BPM if you just press this tempo sync button. And all of this can also be used for modulating the filter. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole filter, but what I will say is that if you want to get deep into designing your own sound, this filter allows you to do that. Not only do you have a switch between 2 poles and 4 poles, but you also have a mode selector that isn't really a hard mode selector. You see, the mode selector goes through low pass, high pass, and band pass seamlessly, more like a mixer knob and less like a switcher. I highly recommend FD1. It's an incredible amount of fun to work with, and if you like semi-modular stuff and modular stuff, then you will really be able to appreciate what FD1 can do. Even though it only has those 2 sources, there's so much you can do with it. So before we move on, I really need to highlight something. So in my splash screens, I have these 2 items here, MIDI I/O and MIDI Learn. And when they are ticked as red, that means that they don't support MIDI Learn or MIDI interfaces in a standalone mode. Well, here's the thing, that as long as you have them loaded as audio units, inside audio unit hosts such as AUM and AudioBus, well, these hosts support their own MIDI Learn systems. So you can very easily connect your hardware MIDI controllers to your iDevice and map your controllers directly to these plugins through those apps. And for AUM users, I have a great tutorial for you. You can find it if you go to the card popping up in the upper right corner and also down in the description under this video. Right, so we're walking backwards through time, through 2019, and in August, there was an app that came out that simply just blew my mind with its sound and its capabilities. And I'm talking about Black Hole Reverb by Eventide. Here's the thing, I cannot even begin to emphasize how good black hole reverb really sounds. This is a keeper for anyone looking for a professionally sounding reverb, a quality reverb on iOS. You have to go get this one. It's worth every penny.
I've been trying to find you where black holes bends the light, where stars goes to die, seeding the space with light.
Now, one of the things that I really enjoy with this one is the macro control down here. You see, you can set this one up to control every other control inside the plugin. You can limit the movement of the controls, and you can also have the controls moving either clockwise or counterclockwise depending on how you set it up. And then you just control everything with this touch strip. And it makes a lot of sense to have it on iOS since you're working with a touchscreen interface. Well, as you can see, there are a lot of controls inside this reverb, and you can pretty much tailor any type of reverb that you could possibly want, from the small ones to the huge ones. But there is this one controller in here that is particularly interesting to work with, and it is the gravity control right there. There's really not much more to say about this thing. It really sounds good. If you're not convinced, then I do suggest that you go and look for more sound examples, because that will convince you. Now, if you are interested in watching a full review and tutorial for Black Hole Reverb by Eventide, then I do have a video just like that. So you can find it popping out in the upper right corner in this card, and also down in the description, together with all the app links, of course. Next up is something that came out in June 2019, and it is FabFilter's ProQ 3. This one is amazing. It has everything you could possibly want. It's got 9 different filter types, 96 decibel per octave slopes for all filter types. It has brick wall slopes, like true brick wall slopes. It's got dynamic options for every band, and it has something called EQ matching. And if you want to know about EQ matching and the dynamic option, I did this video called My Top 3 Favorite Features of FabFilter Pro or something like that. You can find it in the upper right corner in the card popping up, and also down in the description. In that video, I'm going through what those modes are and how they work and why I love them so much. But wait, there's more. Another thing that I like is the external spectrum visualization. So you can take audio from one channel and show its spectrum behind the current channel you're currently on, and compare them and see where some of the frequency problem areas lies, so that you can do some more accurate EQing. It's just... FabFilter ProQ 3 is a truly professional equalizer plugin, and if you are a sound designer, this is something you do not want to overlook. It's not all hype. These plugins are very good, and I do recommend the ProQ 3 one, especially to sound designers. ProQ 3 from FabFilter receives my highest recommendation, and definitely has the haQ attaQ seal of approval. Next up is an app that came out 3 days before ProQ 3 in the same month, so the 18th of June 2019. And I'm talking about Modly from Klevgren Produktion, also known as Klevger. Okay, so even though if you don't go through a matrix, or even if you're not pulling any cables, this is a modular delay unit. you have a wide range of modules that you can insert in these slots here. So you basically have 4 slots per chain. You have a pre-chain, you have a loop chain, and you have a post-chain. What's so fun about this is how creative you can get with your chain building. You have 17 different effect modules to choose from: delay, flanger, compressors, distortion, pitcher, filter. And once you've placed your modules in these slots, you can easily switch positions between modules by sliding them left or right like this. By the way, if you're into dub music, then this thing has a feedback that goes to 200%. That's pretty nice, right? But even if you're not into dub, if you're a guitarist or if you're a vocalist, a beatboxer, it's very fun to build your own effect. And if you're into synths, you can build any type of delay you want. Anyone can build any type of delay they want. So back when Modly came out, I did do a full tutorial and review of this thing. And if you want to find that video, you can go to, well, click on the card popping out in the upper right corner, or go down into the description and you'll find a link down there too. Right, so we've hit that spot in the video where I get to show you my last top pick. But you should know this, there is something that needs to be clarified here. Don't skip past this, especially not if you are interested in Magic Death Eye DDMF compressor by Christian. I'm not gonna say that last name because I'm afraid of butchering it. So Magic Death Eye here is a compressor, obviously, and it is a very good sounding compressor. There is one issue though. You see, on the App Store, there is a mention of a side chain, and many people interested in this plugin, including myself, took this as this sidechain thing being something that could be accessed through the audio unit multi-bus routing system. You see, Jonathan Liljedahl from Kumatica recently implemented this into AUM, so now we can finally use all those sidechain inputs in sidechain-enabled apps that works through this multi-routing system. However, that is not the case for Magic Death Eye. This has nothing to do with that multi-routing thing. The sidechain inside Magic Death Eye is completely internal, so it's being fed a signal from the input of the compressor itself. Again, to be completely clear, the sidechain inside Magic Death Eye is not something that you can access through the audio unit multi-bus routing system. For anyone wondering what this multi-routing is all about, you can check this video that I made not so long ago, popping up in this card up here. Right, so with that out of the way, Magic Death Eye is a very, very good compressor, and I use it as glue, and you'll see this mentioned all over the web when it comes to Magic Death Eye. This might come off as everybody just copying each other, but glue is a really, really good term to use when describing what this compressor does well. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the feature splash screen here. As you can see, I've marked out the word mono at some places. And this is because when you've got Magic Death Eye loaded as a standalone device or as an inter-app audio device, it only works in mono, so only the left channel is active. However, when you've got it loaded as an audio unit, then Magic Death Eye will work in stereo, so both the left and right channels will be active. Now, you won't find any other videos on this channel featuring Magic Death Eye because I never got around to reviewing it last year. I simply didn't have the time for it, but it's a very straightforward compressor. So if we look at the controls here, we have an input level control, we have our threshold, and then we have this time knob over here. And so down here at 1, you're getting the fastest attack and release times. And when you go higher, you're getting slower attack and release times. When it comes to the two options called D, these are dual release times. So D1 has a very quick release followed by a medium release time. And D2 has a quick release followed by a very slow release. So these two options are more like a combination between decay and sustain. Now, it doesn't really stop there because if you check on the right here, you have a switch. And with this one, you have even more settings for the attack time itself. So you can set it from fast attack time to medium attack time to slow attack time. And here is the 150 Hz filter roll-off I talked about for the sidechain input. All in all, this is a very, very good compressor and I highly recommend it. If you go down into the description, you can find links to all of the apps and all of the videos I've been mentioning in this video. Now, if you found this video helpful and you want to see more like this in the future, if you were entertained, then why not help me out and the channel out by hitting that like button, but only if you found something you liked or enjoyed in this video. If you didn't like or enjoy it, then the thumbs down always works too. So yeah, if you want to help support this channel out in any financial ways, then you have the Patreon link here, or PayPal if you want to do that. You can also find me on these social networks, and I do like it when people follow me on Instagram. Really do like it when when people tag me on Instagram, because I want to see what you do musically. It doesn't have to be iPad or iOS or iPhone. It could be anything musical. I just want to see what you do. You know, you're inspiring me when you do that. Some people say I'm inspiring them through my videos. Well, it goes both ways. So inspire me, right? Do that. Yes. So thank you so much for watching. All comments and ratings are very much appreciated. As usual, I wish you a very productive week. Now go finger all of your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it.
I've been trying to find you where black holes bends the light, where stars goes to die.